how to fight with depression and why some people have depression, some people don't.
Mm. Well, again, let's see what is depression. Now, really deep depression, usually it's audio vector has. Because again, if we go back to vector psychology, certain vectors that have more they can feel, because again, all inner issues, inner problems, audio vector perceives all the energy through the ear directly into its brain, so it's very introvert. So all inner stuff, it's very also connected. Extrovert, visual people with bigger eyes, visual vector people, they're more extrovert. So they have, most of the time they have, sometimes they feel sad, but it's not the deep depression. Maybe they have panic attacks or phobias, but usually it's different issues. So usually it's that audio vector. Again, we talked about lack of exchange of energy. If you don't exchange energy, that's first thing that is going to lead to that feeling. It can call depression or other problems, because again, if we say first rule of nature, it's exchange of energy. If you don't do that, the universe will punish you. You want, sometimes you just wanna, jump out of the bridge. Maybe you lack in, you need to, sometimes you just need to talk to a person, person ready to jump out of the bridge, and somebody passes by, and you're asking him, excuse me, do you have a cigarette? He's like, no. Or, do you know what time is it? No, I don't have a watch. Okay. He goes by, passes by. That person now maybe doesn't want to jump. He just needed to talk. No, he talked to somebody. He just talked to a random person, and now he can feel differently. So sometimes, especially now, pandemic, everybody's home, we're lacking this exchange of energy with other people. Because Skype and Zoom, you need sometimes, exchange of energy is not the same. So it's one of the things. Also, there is a lot of different factors gonna play. If you hate, every day you come to your work that you hate, cash register or something, and you cannot evolve there, you cannot learn something new that make you better, more productive, no matter how much good things you're gonna hear from me or any psychologist will tell you, love yourself, or I don't know, whatever they're gonna tell you, is not gonna help, because it's different factors. And in 4 quadrants you have business. Again, if you multiply one of them on a 0, some vector can lead to depression. You never exercise, you never walk, you just drive, you have your car, you go buy bread and milk and you drive, you come back. That's your only activity, getting in the car and getting out of the car. Obviously there is no exchange of energy there. You need, so it's all 4. You need, don't forget about also self-evolvement. If you don't learn something new, and just learning something new, it's also not enough, because certain vectors, anal vector, like Freud started talking about that, but he didn't say vector. Vector psychology is based on Freud work, but he talked about this anal vector, you can say. These people, especially, their role in the tribe, it was teaching young kids to become warriors. Now, because their main role is teaching, they need to be good professors or teachers. But if they didn't take enough time to study topic, They cannot be, I mean, nobody's gonna take them as the teachers, so they cannot kind of fulfill their role as a teacher. And he's never gonna feel deep down, he's never gonna feel really fulfilled. You can say happy, but I don't usually like more word fulfilled if he doesn't do that, because that's exchange of energy also. You learn, you read the book, you learn something, then you need to pass it over to somebody else. That's the role, one of the roles. Now, if they don't, again, if we talk about the same vector, this vector, because they have this love for kids, they want to teach them, they become good fathers usually if they fulfilled. If they not, if they go through frustrations, offenses, usually they keep offense all their life, because they like accumulators. They accumulate energy, offense, everything, knowledge, because they need to accumulate and then pass it over. But if they accumulate offense, fears, all this leads to frustration. Now they can harm kids. Every vector has different things they can do for society or against it. So now they can become like worse pedophile. It's also on a vector only. It's not a dermal or visual. It's specific people only can do it. And if it's unfulfilled or being abused in childhood, it's all connected also. But sometimes even if they're abused in childhood, it doesn't mean they're gonna be abusive when they grow up, because when they grow up, they can still change. So that's what vector psychology will be about. If you don't even know how to change, what you need to do, you don't even realize, you have it subconsciously, you need to first bring it into your conscious mind. Then you start working with different issues, understand? Then you can help the person. But if he doesn't even know what's the root of this that leads to these certain problems and issues, nothing is gonna help him. He's not gonna able. He's gonna be. It can harm to society. It's the only people who do sexual violence and all criminal violence that connected to any violence. You know, they can hate women. It's also on a vector. Or even men sometimes, they can just, you know, on the street, they can start arguing and beat somebody up. Usually it's anal. Because dermal, they're different. They're not really, I mean, they can fight, but not just because they have nothing to do, you know, it's different. So every vector can have also different problems and frustrations. You need to, so that's what vector psychology is all about. And again, it's all leads the offense. If he offended his parents, they say, if his life, he cannot reach his goals, you know, he cannot really achieve what he wants to achieve, but he still, you know, the less he achieved in his goals, the less he's gonna feel fulfilled. So it's also gonna lead to depression. It's also gonna lead to this feeling, you know, you feel like you don't belong. You feel like you are needed, and that's the worst feeling, especially for men. And they jump out of the window, or if it's anal, they hang themselves. Anal, usually everything is choking. It's all anal because his body works like sphincters, all his body. When we evolutionized through vectors, every vector gave a step toward evolution. Dermal vector, it's skin, we started to lose hair. The anal, it's fist, so we can hold stone axe tool to to survive, stomachs and other tools
Mm.
from the paw. So that first sphincter, all his body works like sphincters. When he goes through stress, diarrhea, constipation during the stress, stomach pain,
This one.
stuttering, he cannot talk, all the sphincters. So it's all certain vectors. Even heart attack and all these stroke. It's all sphincters. So certain vectors. Heart attack only on a vector. Normal with visual, they don't have heart attacks. So certain vector can have certain problems because again